Hello everyone, today I'm finally going to share my thoughts about Chanel's Holiday 2013 collection with you, and I'm going to start with my nails. I am wearing a festive combination of gold and red, which is very traditional around the holidays, and I'm going to begin with a description of the nail color, which is 677 Rouge Rubis. I love this red. It's my second favorite Chanel red. I am mostly a fan of Pirate, which is my favorite Chanel red, but this comes very darn close because it's even brighter than Pirate. It's very bright outside, outdoors, and it has a very creamy finish, super rich, and it could be a one coater if you have very translucent nails. It is most similar to Guerlain's 121 nail lacquer, and indoors it's very hard to tell which is which, but when you step outside, the Guerlain is noticeably warmer and more orange toned. Now I'm going to move on to the lipsticks. As many of you Chanel addicts may have heard already, the Rouge Allure Velvet formula has been tweaked just a bit. It is ultra creamy, a little bit more forgiving, especially on dry lips like mine. They aren't as flaky as they normally are because I have prepped my lips with Chanel's Hydra Max Lip Balm. Chanel's Hydra Max Lip Balm is still one of my very favorites, and it's ultra glossy, it's non-irritating, and it has a great smell. When I prep my lips with the Hydra Max and wear the Rouge Allure Velvets, these new ones, my lips just feel so much more comfortable and the color lasts all day. The reason why I love these matte lipsticks from Chanel is because they don't bleed and they don't make my lips look really flaky, and they don't crack at the end of the day. Between the two, I prefer 317, which is more of a true red. With one swipe, it looks more of a bright pink red, but when you layer it, it becomes a rich, more neutral red. So this is a more classic color, whereas number 327 looks absolutely scary and frightening in the tube, but on the lips it's more of a wine colored red, and it's not even a true wine because the first swipe looks more like a cranberry wine color, and it's not as intimidating as it looks right here, I promise. On the lips, it's very easy to wear, and I've worn two together, so it is a sort of ombre lip. I don't want to call it a true ombre because the effect is very subtle. It's a little bit darker around the edges and brighter in the center of the lips, so it makes my lips look fuller, and as many of you know, my natural lips, especially my upper lip, is very thin, so it really creates that plumped effect without having to wear a lip gloss. So definitely try the ombre look this season if you have, especially these two lipsticks. They just meld so beautifully together, and it doesn't take a lot of blending. I didn't even have to use a lip brush. I just used these two lipsticks, and the fine edge of the lipsticks creates that really ultra sharp defined effect. So I highly recommend both those lipsticks. If you can't tell, I absolutely love them. And now we'll move on to the cheeks, and then we'll finish up with the eyes. I have to say that the Accent Blush, this is number 84, is one of my favorites of all time. I was very impressed by this color because when Mocha was discontinued, Mocha is the most similar to this shade. It was discontinued probably a couple years ago, and Mocha was one of the least popular out of this range. On my very yellow, light medium skin, it pulled really brown and really muddy, whereas Accent pulls more pink. So it actually looks like a blush on me, and so if you are my coloring and you like a really natural blush, but you don't like to wear bronzer, then I highly recommend you check Accent out. It's highly pigmented, a little goes a long way, and I like to apply all of my blushes with my Shuuemura angled brush, just because it gives me that really quick one sweep effect, and I can pull all the way up to my cheekbones to give me a more sculpted effect. So overall, I feel like Accent is one of the best blushes that Chanel has done this year, so I highly recommend it. Now for the eyeshadows. I am in love with the Initiation Cream eyeshadow, and it is a very neutral brown with a lot of glittery bits, but the glitter doesn't really seem to drop on my face throughout the day. It actually adheres to my eyes, and I use this as an eyeshadow base for my powder eyeshadows that I applied, and you'll see that in the tutorial next. But overall, I feel like Initiation is the more brown version, more true brown version of last season's Gris Gris. I really love this shade, but it's a little brighter, a little more purple, I would say. It pulls a little bit more purple on my very warm skin. But overall, if you missed that one, I highly recommend you try Initiation. Now, last but not least, we have the Shadow Quint. I love the style of packaging, and Chanel has released several of these in the past. past. I have the Pearl River version and the original version with the colorful palette. I forget what it's called, I'm sorry. But I have to say that I think Charming is my favorite of the three that I own, just because these are the shades that I tend to wear. I like very neutral browns, and this palette contains only one warm color, which is the middle brown here. It has more of a coppery tone because of the glitter in it. Overall though, I feel like this is the most wearable palette. A lot of people think that these sort of shades are too basic and too neutral, but I can never have enough of these. But more importantly, the quality of this Charming palette is what makes it a real winner in my book, because the pigmentation is incredible. It is very rich and the pigments are buttery soft. They are a little bit powdery, so I highly recommend patting down the eyeshadow instead of sweeping it across the eyes. So I do mention that in the tutorial. But overall, I feel like Charming, it deserves an A+. It has more mattes than I've seen in any Chanel palette. So all four of these colors are satiny or matte, and only the center one there is glittery. But even then, the glitter is very soft. It's not as noticeable as with Initiation. So these two make a great pairing, but between the two, as much as I love Charming, I love Initiation that much more, just because it's such a low maintenance, easy to apply color. Check this collection out before it's gone, because spring has already landed in boutiques. So if you visited a Chanel boutique recently, you will have seen their spring testers out already, and I will try to get on that as soon as possible once Christmas is over. But thanks so much for tuning in, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. So in order to save on time, I've already prepped my complexion. First, I started with the Boots No. 7 Photo Fix Wrinkle Filler and Primer. I'm really loving this primer. It's very gentle on my slightly dry skin. I've been traveling and working, and I recently got a facial, so my skin's been really dry, but this primer doesn't accentuate any of the dryness or flakiness. And my favorite Chanel complexion mix is actually the Matte Lumiere with the CC cream. I use the Matte Lumiere in 40, so this is my summer shade, and I use the CC cream in 20, which is the only shade available. But these two together have the most similar fluidity. It actually looks and feels like a gel, so it's really dense, but it has great coverage right off the bat. I barely need any concealer, so I use these two mixed, and I feel like it's the best Chanel complexion product for my skin. But now on my eyebrows, I'm using the M Arched Longwear Brow Liner. I'm absolutely loving this for my brows. As many of you know, this is my natural hair color now. I don't dye my hair jet black anymore. And since I had some more highlights put in, I just wanted to use a warmer black color. This is in the color black, but I do have other shades. I just find that the darker brow fits my makeup needs for the winter a little bit better. It's not a true black. There is a little bit of brown and some warmth to it, so I just find that it's more appropriate of a match for my coloring at the moment, as opposed to my favorite Clé de Peau eyebrow pencil. So that is that, and now we can finally get started with the eyes. And I'm going to use my middle finger to apply it all over the lid. As you can see, I applied a sheer wash of color, but there is just enough brown with a hint of glitter. It is the perfect everyday color for my complexion, so that's why I'm loving this so much. Now I'm just going to apply a little bit more to build up that color, and as you can see, it does build up pretty well. Now I'm going to take the Eyeshadow Quint and pick up the lightest color here. All of these colors are very, very pigmented, so a little goes a long way, and I'm just going to use this in the corner of the eyes, and then along the brow bone, for a little bit of lift. Now I'm going to take this nude matte and I'm going to place it in the crease. This eyeshadow color in particular is very, very pigmented. I adore this color. Now I'm going to take a fluffy blending brush and blend it out. Then I'm going to take the glittery gold, and then I'm going to place it directly on the center of the lid. The color that I just applied is most like Initiation, but it has larger gold glitter, whereas Initiation has brighter, more champagne colored glitter. I love both, but between the two, I prefer the single as opposed to the eyeshadow palette, just because that's my personal preference. But as you can see, all this layering of brown creates a really sophisticated basic eye. Now I'm going to take the matte dark brown And I'm going to deepen the eye look by placing it just at the outer corner. I like to simply pat it into place for the most opaque color. And last but not least, I'm going to take the charcoal brown that is very, very cool on the very end with the other side of my brush. And I'm going to use this color to line the outer half of the eye. Now that we finished up the eyeshadow and I went ahead and applied some liquid eyeliner as I usually do, I'm going to apply my false lashes by Velour. This is one of their new Christmas sets, one of two, and it comes in the day and night styles. So I'm actually going to use the day style in the You Complete Me just because I do prefer the outer wing, as many of you guys already know. So once I apply the false lashes, I'll come back and we'll finish up with the cheeks and the lips. As you can see, I did not apply mascara to my lower lashes just because I wanted the look to be very upper half heavy. That way your eyes look much more wide open, they look bigger, wider eyed, and overall I just feel like it emphasizes the eyeshadow and the lashes a lot more. So I'm going to start with Accent, and this is the powder blush. It is a gorgeous brown, and it again is the lighter version of Mocha, which was long discontinued, but I actually prefer this one better because it has more of a lilac tone instead of a brown tone. It provides a really natural flush. I wouldn't say that it sculpts my cheeks because since I am more yellow toned and a little darker, on very fair skin it has much more of a contouring style effect. On me it just looks like a healthy flush. Now there are two lipsticks for this holiday. I have both of the Rouge Allure Velvets. My favorite of the two is the red, and it is number 317, and I also have the dark plummy red, which is 327. So I'm actually going to apply 327 first. I'm going to pull both of them out of their bullets, and you can find swatches of both these lipsticks on my blog. Just click the very first link down below in the description box. And I'm going to apply the purple first because I'm going to create a layered red lip. As you can see, it's not a true plummy purple. It is actually much more of a purpley cranberry color. And now I'm going to apply the red lipstick to the center of my lips. As you can see, it's much more pink in the center. I personally think that this sort of dual toned red lip look is actually very, not just popular, but it's very flattering. I suppose you could consider this an ombre lip, but overall I just find it to be a more richly developed red. So I love the way this look came together because it's very neutral, but it has that pop of color. And of course for my nails, if you didn't catch it in the beginning, it's a mix of Chanel Goldfingers, which has been discontinued, with the Holiday Red, and I just thought this was very festive and it matched the makeup look. So that's why I combined the two colors, which I normally wouldn't do. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed the look and find it to be a wearable approach to this holiday collection. So if you have any further questions about the products, feel free to leave your questions down below in the description box. And if you wanted to see the swatches, again, they're on my blog, thereviewer.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye!